Hello everyone, welcome to Just Invest. Today, in today's video, we are talking about a new Warren Buffett interview that he did with Charlie Rose. This interview was damn near amazing. He talked about so many different topics, a lot of good investment insights, and it's always good just to remind yourself the importance of these simple, basic, fundamental strategies. One of the main things that Warren Buffett said in the interview that stuck out, this guy goes, investing is very, very easy. I'm just like, what? Of course, someone like Warren Buffett thinks investing is very, very easy with his damn near perfect track record of just hitting it out the park. But we're going to get into it in this video. So I'm going to be talking about my favorite parts or my favorite quotes that he mentions in this interview. So let's get to the first quote. The first part of the interview that I loved is when Warren Buffett actually talks about buying his first 3 shares of City Service Preferred in 1942 for around like $38, which is actually insane and it's crazy. Before we actually read about Ben Graham, he was doing technical analysis, which is pretty crazy, and he read every single book in the Omaha library trying to figure out how do I do this with stocks. And then he talks about, I was 11, I picked stocks, not businesses. I did technical analysis. Then I read Ben Graham. I was doing it exactly the wrong way. I had to change my mind. And from that point, I never bought another stock. I bought businesses that happened to be publicly traded, but I became an owner of these businesses and I didn't care whether the stock went up or down. And the next month, next week, next year, I didn't know what the stock market would do, but I know businesses. And this is so important, man. He talks about this all the time. He just wants to buy simple businesses and just hold on pretty much. Moving on to the next portion that I really loved, actually Warren Buffett talks about actually not having to be a genius in investing, which is really amazing because a lot of people think that you have to have this crazy IQ, crazy knowledge, and all of this amazing stuff for you to be able to invest, but it's just not true. You don't need to be a genius in my field. You need the right orientation. 90% of people who buy stocks don't think of it the right way. They want stocks to go up next week. If the market is down, they feel worse. I think about what the company is going to be worth 10 to 20 years from now, and I hope it goes down when I buy it so I can buy more. Think about this. If 90% of the market is doing the opposite of what you're really supposed to do, isn't that like a huge advantage for us as long-term owners of businesses that we can look into the future and not worry about the short term? It's amazing that you don't need some high IQ to realize that majority of people in the market are doing the wrong thing. Warren Buffett actually goes on and talks about how he has 80% of his net worth in stocks in American businesses, and he sees this as like the long-term potential of you just can't lose investing in stocks. Can you believe that? 80% of his net worth in just American businesses, stocks on the publicly traded market or private, whatever it is. That is amazing to think about, and that's how much he believes in the stock market. Then a question was asked about what makes you happy, and then Warren Buffett says, what I am doing. I enjoy 2 things about it. I know I'll win over time. I'm in the game that's very, very, very easy. If you have the right lessons in your mind about what you're buying, not buying stocks, I'm buying pieces of businesses. I'm happier when the stocks are going down so I can buy more at cheaper prices. And that's all you need. You just have to have the right damn lessons in your mind about buying stocks and being happy when the stock market is crashing, because in general, we are going to be net buyers of stocks. We're not going to be net sellers. So if you're not going to sell your stocks 10, 20 years from now, what are you worried about? If you bought a house, are you going to sell that house in 5 years? Probably not. And that's how we're going to think about stocks. And his second thing is like, I like being trusted by people. Next part of this interview that I want to go over was a question asked by Charlie Rose. We expect the Fed to raise rates. Does this remind you of the 1970s? And remember, inflation right now is going crazy. It's around like 8.5%. And he answers this question very easily. Everything that happens in the investment world reminds me of something, but I don't think that way. All I'm trying to do is buy businesses. Let's pretend there's no stock market. Let's say I had to buy private businesses, farms, apartment houses. They're investments. So you're looking at what you can do with the money I saved to put it away so I feel good about getting it back under any circumstance. Not necessarily any given moment, but if I have a farm, it's going to take me a while. People would be so much better if there was no stock market in terms of buying businesses, man. And this was an amazing quote, amazing section of this interview because he just slices it down the middle with this amazing advice. Basically saying that all he's trying to do is just buy businesses. He's not worrying about what the Fed's gonna do, inflation, interest rates, a war. He's not worried about all that stuff. He just wants to buy sound businesses. If he bought a farm, if he bought an apartment house down the street, if he bought a laundromat, he's gonna look at what the business is producing and just leave it in those simple terms. If the business is generating like an 8% return, 9% return, that's what he's getting, and that's what he's going to focus on. He's not going to focus on all the external stuff, especially when you have a long-term vision in the stock market. You don't have to worry about that because there's always something to worry about in the stock market. There's always going to be something. So don't worry about all the stuff. Just worry about buying sound businesses. So guys, that was it for this amazing interview. Go watch the whole thing. It's like an hour and 14 minutes, but there's so many gems, there's so many things I'm not talking about in this interview. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I'll get back to you in the next video. Peace.